start learning Italian, it's pretty common to keep repeating the same basic words and phrases. But if you're gunning for fluency, it's time to shake things up. The key? Familiarize yourself with Italian pronouns and inject rhythm into your sentences. In this lesson, you're going to learn all the different kinds of Italian pronouns and take a look at plenty of real-world examples too, so you know how and when to use them. To continue your learning and to help you practice, make sure you download your free PDF cheat sheet for this lesson, which you'll find a link to in the description below this video. You can even test your knowledge with my free Italian pronouns quiz, and you'll find a link to that in the description below. Pronti? Cominciamo! Now, pronouns are tiny little words that step in to replace parts of a sentence. They not only save us from sounding like a broken record, but also jazz up our Italian, making it more lively and fluent. The word pronoun itself makes their role very clear. Coming from the Latin pronomen, where pro means for and nomen means name, they essentially mean for a name. Take a look at this example.
Marco ha chiamato Anna. Vuole invitare Anna al cinema.
Marco has called Anna. He wants to invite Anna to the movies. To sound more fluent, we would say,
Marco ha chiamato Anna. Vuole invitarla al cinema.
Marco called Anna. He wants to invite her to the movies. In the second phrase, la is the Italian pronoun used to replace Anna, her name. So the sentence flows smoother and isn't repetitive. Now, Italian pronouns are super useful words like
Io, tu, lo, la.
And so on. The equivalent to I, you, him, her in English, that take place of other words in a sentence. They help avoid repeating the same thing over and over, making things clearer and easy to follow. Now, before we jump in, make sure you download your free PDF cheat sheet for this lesson, which includes a practical summary of everything you're going to learn. Let's take a look at key Italian pronouns. We have personal pronouns. They can indicate who or what is involved within a sentence, be it either the subject or the object. This is the equivalent to I, you, him, and so on in English. Possessive pronouns. They express possession and belonging, indicating whom the referred elements belong to. This is the equivalent of mine, yours, or his in English. Relative pronouns. These connect two sentences by referring back to a noun mentioned in the first sentence. This is the equivalent of saying which or that in English. Pronouns in Italian, just like in English, serve as substitutes for nouns, whether they are people, animals, objects, or abstract ideas. But Italian boasts a more complex system of pronouns compared to English, which can cause quite a few headaches. Understanding the different types of Italian pronouns and how they fit into sentences is a key part of mastering this aspect of the language. So let's break them down into a few main types, each playing a distinct role in Italian grammar. We'll explore each category in this video lesson so you can get a handle on each of them, starting with personal pronouns. Personal pronouns are used to indicate the person or thing involved in the action of the verb. This can be either the subject, meaning who is performing the action, or the object, in other words, who is receiving the action in the sentence. Here are some examples.
Noi andremo al cinema, ma loro preferiscono restare a casa.
We will go to the cinema, but they prefer to stay at home. Here, noi and loro are plural personal pronouns used as subjects in the sentence.
Maria è andata da Eleonora. La aiuterà con i compiti di matematica.
Maria went to Eleonora's. She will help her with her math homework. Here, the personal pronoun la replaces Maria, indicating that Maria is the one who will be helped. There are 4 types of personal pronouns in Italian. Subject pronouns. They replace the subject in a sentence, corresponding to I, you, she, and so on in English. Direct object pronouns. These replace the direct recipient of the action in a sentence, corresponding to me, you, or him in English. Indirect object pronouns. These replace the indirect recipient of the action in a sentence, corresponding to me, you, or her, and so on in English. Reflexive pronouns. These indicate that the person or object performing the action of the verb is also the recipient of the action. This corresponds to myself, yourself, and herself, and so on in English. Subject pronouns in Italian are essential for understanding who or what is performing an action. They replace the subject in a sentence, which can be a person, animal, or object. These pronouns are typically among the first elements you learn in Italian, as they are key to correctly conjugating verbs.
Io, tu, lui, egli, esso, lei, ella, essa, noi, voi, loro, essi, loro, esse.
In everyday Italian, the subject pronouns egli and ella have become archaic and are only used in highly formal or bureaucratic contexts. Now let's take a look at some example sentences.
Ho conosciuto Anna sull'aereo. Lei è di Roma e tornava a casa per il Natale.
I met Anna on the plane. She's from Rome and was heading home for Christmas. Here, lei is the subject pronoun referring back to Anna or Anna.
Io vado a comprare qualcosa da mangiare, mentre tu fai la fila per I biglietti.
I'm going to buy something to eat while you wait in line for the tickets. Here, io is the subject pronoun for the first person singular, indicating the action taken by the speaker, while tu is the subject pronoun for the second person singular, referring to the person the speaker is talking to.
Chiama Andrea e Giulio. Loro sapranno consigliarti un buon hotel in città.
Call Andrea and Giulio. They will be able to recommend a good hotel in the city. Here, loro is the subject pronoun referring back to Andrea and Giulio. Direct object pronouns are used to replace the noun that directly receives the action of the verb. To identify them, simply ask yourself, does the pronoun answer who or what in relation to the verb's action? For example, in the sentence,
Vedo la macchina.
I see the car. La macchina, the car, is the direct object. It can be replaced with the pronoun la, as in la vedo. This la is the direct object pronoun. Take a look at this table.
Mi, me. Ti, te. Lo, lui, la, lei. La, lei. Ci, noi. Vi, voi. Li, loro. Le, loro.
Usually we put direct object pronouns right before the verb. However, there are exceptions, such as with the imperative verbs, where you stick them onto the end of the verb to form a single word. Let's take a look at some examples.
È da un'ora che aspetto Giovanni.
I've been waiting for Giovanni for an hour.
È da un'ora che lo aspetto.
I've been waiting for him for an hour. Lo replaces Giovanni.
Voglio vedere solo Stefania.
I only want to see Stefania.
Voglio vedere solo lei.
I only want to see her. Lei replaces Stefania.
Chiama subito Anna e Paola.
Call Anna and Paola right away.
Chiamale subito.
Call them right away. Le replaces Anna and Paola. Indirect object pronouns are used to indicate the person or thing that is the recipient of an action. They answer the question to whom or for whom a certain thing is done. For example, in the sentence,
Porto un regalo a Matteo.
Un regalo is what's being given. This is the direct object, while Matteo is the guy receiving the present, the indirect object, and can be replaced with gli, as in,
Gli porto un regalo.
this gli is our handy indirect object pronoun. Take a look at this table.
Mi, me. Ti, te. Gli, le. Lui, lei. Le, lei, lei. Ci, noi. Vi, voi. Gli, loro. Gli, loro.
Now let's take a look at some example sentences.
Ho fatto un regalo a Gianni.
I gave Gianni a gift.
Gli ho fatto un regalo.
I gave him a gift. Gli replaces a Gianni.
Mario ha chiesto a Elena se vuole venire con noi a Milano.
Mario asked Elena if she wants to come with us to Milan. This becomes,
Mario le ha chiesto se vuole venire con noi a Milano.
Mario asked her if she wants to come with us to Milan. Le replaces a Elena. Here's another example.
Hanno chiesto a noi di organizzare l'itinerario.
They asked us to organize the itinerary. Becomes,
Ci hanno chiesto di organizzare l'itinerario.
they asked us to organize the itinerary. Ci replaces a noi. Reflexive pronouns are a specific category of personal pronouns used when the subject of a sentence performs an action on itself. In other words, these pronouns step in when the same noun is both the subject doing the action and the object receiving it. Take a look at this chart.
Mi, me. Ti, te. Si, se. Ci, noi. Vi, voi. Si, se.
Reflexive pronouns are commonly paired with reflexive verbs, which indicate that the subject of the sentence is performing an action on themselves. Examples of such verbs include
Lavarsi.
to wash oneself,
Alzarsi.
to get up,
Pettinarsi.
to comb one's hair. In a sentence, reflexive pronouns usually come before the verb. Take a look at these examples.
Ci vediamo tutti fine settimana.
We see each other every weekend. Ci indicates that the action of seeing each other is performed by the subjects on themselves. Instead, if we say,
Vediamo i nostri amici tutti fine settimana.
this means we see our friends every weekend. That same action is directed towards others, the friends, not the subjects themselves. Here's another example.
Mi vesto e vado a fare colazione.
I dress myself and go have breakfast. Mi indicates that the action of getting dressed is being performed on the speaker. Here's another example.
Ieri si è tagliato facendosi la barba.
Yesterday he cut himself while shaving. Si indicates that the action of cutting is performed by the subject on himself. Possessive pronouns are used to indicate ownership of a person or object, which is specified by the noun they substitute. They are commonly introduced by a definite article that matches the gender and number of the noun they refer to, like il or le. Take a look at this chart.
Il mio. I miei. La mia. Le mie. Il tuo. I tuoi. La tua. Le tue. Il suo. I suoi. La sua. Le sue. Il nostro. I nostri. La nostra. Le nostre. Il vostro. I vostri. La vostra. Le vostre. Il loro. I loro. La loro. Le loro.
As you can see, they look exactly like possessive adjectives, and they vary based on person, gender, and number of the object in possession, just like them. The key difference is that possessive adjectives always accompany a noun, while possessive pronouns stand alone because they replace the noun. Take a look at these examples.
La tua valigia è più pesante della mia.
Your suitcase is heavier than mine.
Questo è il mio posto. Quello è il tuo.
This is my place. That is yours.
Ho dimenticato i trucchi. Posso usare i vostri?
I forgot my makeup. Can I use yours? Relative pronouns are used to connect two sentences that share a common element by replacing the noun found in the main clause within the relative clause. Let's clarify this with two sentences.
Ho parlato con Anna. Anna mi ha detto di chiamarti.
I spoke with Anna. Anna told me to call you. These two sentences can be combined into a single sentence as follows.
Ho parlato con Anna che mi ha detto di chiamarti.
I spoke with Anna, who told me to call you. In this combined sentence, the relative pronoun che refers to Anna, so we don't have to keep saying her name. Relative pronouns in Italian can be divided into two categories. Invariable, which means that they do not change their form based on the gender and number of the noun they refer to, and we have the variable ones. Take a look at this chart.
Che.
This is the most commonly used relative pronoun in Italian, the equivalent to who or that in English. It can replace a subject or a direct object in a sentence and always follows the noun it refers to. For example,
Il libro che ho letto è davvero interessante.
the book I read is really interesting.
Cui.
This pronoun is used for replacing an indirect object in a sentence and is generally preceded by a preposition or an article, the choice of which depends on the verb it is associated with. Take a look at this example.
La casa in cui abito è molto grande.
The house where I live is very big.
Chi.
This pronoun is used to replace a subject or a direct object with the meaning everyone who or the person or people who. It's used in broader, more general references. For example,
Chi entra per ultimo deve chiudere la porta.
whoever enters last has to close the door.
Il quale.
And its gender and number variants include
La quale. I quali. Le quali.
These pronouns can be translated as which or who in English and serve as more specific alternatives to che and cui, particularly to clearly specify the noun they refer to. However, in everyday Italian, che and cui are more commonly used than these forms. They are always used with a definite article. Take a look at this example.
La città nella quale si sono trasferiti è Milano.
The city they moved to is Milan. Now let's take a look at some example sentences.
Quel ragazzo è molto simpatico. Quel ragazzo lavora al bar.
That guy is really nice. That guy works at the bar. Becomes,
Quel ragazzo che lavora al bar è molto simpatico.
that guy who works at the bar is really nice. In this case, che refers to quel ragazzo, which functions as the subject of both clauses. The next example is,
Ho comprato le mele. Le mele erano buonissime.
I bought apples. The apples were really good. This becomes,
Le mele che ho comprato erano buonissime.
the apples I bought were really good. Here, che refers to le mele from the first sentence, where it functions as a direct object. The next example is,
Parlavo con quella ragazza. Quella ragazza è austriaca.
I was talking with that girl. That girl is Austrian. Becomes,
Quella ragazza con cui parlavo è austriaca.
that girl I was talking to is Austrian. Here, cui refers to quella ragazza, which is the indirect object of the verb parlava in the first sentence. The next example is,
Ho parlato con i suoi fratelli. I suoi fratelli sostengono di non averlo sentito.
I spoke with his brothers. His brothers said they haven't heard from him. Becomes,
Ho parlato con I suoi fratelli, I quali sostengono di non averlo sentito.
I spoke with his brothers, who said they haven't heard from him. Here, I quali serves to link the second part of the sentence back to I suoi fratelli, his brothers. To continue your learning and to help you practice these Italian pronouns, make sure you download your free PDF cheat sheet for this lesson, which includes a practical summary of everything that you've learned so far. You can find a link in the description box below this video. And don't forget you can test your knowledge with my free Italian pronouns quiz. Again, the link is in the description below. If you enjoyed this lesson, then you'll love Intrepid Italian, my series of online self-paced video courses that break down everything you need to know about Italian using my unique 80-20 method. Just visit intrepiditalian.com for more details. To make sure you never miss a future lesson, hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Until next time, thanks for watching. Un abbraccio. Ciao!